Hello, welcome back or welcome to. Today, as you can see, I have a guest with me again. He's made a reappearance. What?
Welcome to?
Yeah, like welcome to my channel. Why are you questioning?
Okay.
He's been on the channel before, but he's reappearing for our
1 year anniversary questionnaire.
No! Like, okay,
That is what it is.
I mean it is, but it's not a questionnaire.
Okay.
It's like 10 questions that we've looked up to talk about our first year of marriage.
It's gonna be our first year of marriage. Right now, we are 15 days away from our first year of marriage, and it flew by like
Because you're having fun.
So now we have a questionnaire.
Babe, stop saying questionnaire, it's so ugly.
Now we have things to go over with you based on our first year of marriage.
Should we get right into it?
Yes.
Do you have anything to say before we start?
Welcome back and welcome to.
Okay. You need to chill, man. The first one is, what has brought you closer together this year?
Are we taking turns, like going first? Or
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to... I can go first.
No, I'll go first.
No, I'll go first.
No,
Okay,
I'll go first.
No. What has brought us closer over this last year is something that we've implemented. What?
What?
Oh, you're staring? Oh, okay.
I'm just
It's
looking
something
at
that
you.
we've implemented, which is we have a monthly check-in. So essentially the idea of this is every single month at the beginning of the month, what we'll do is we'll kind of have a list of things that we may not have necessarily talked about because maybe we didn't feel like it was the best time to talk about it, or it wasn't that big of a deal, or it was something that was a big deal, but we just needed to address it at a different time when emotions weren't so high. And we'll kind of jot it down. And at the beginning of the month, we'll go over those things with each other. And what the other party is supposed to do that is not actually discussing what bothered them or what they wanted to discuss about, they have to just stay quiet and listen and not worry about rebuttals, not worry about getting defensive, not worry about any of that. But really what it comes down to is just listening to the other person and making sure that you're communicating effectively. Ever since we've done that, I feel like it's really helped our relationship grow more and more. And I don't want you guys to get it wrong. Like, we talk about stuff all the time during the month. It's not like we only pick this time of
We're
the
not
month.
saving everything
Yeah, like
first.
Yeah.
Like, it could literally be anything. Like, if it's something small and I'm like, you know what, I want to bring this up during the check-in, like, I'll just jot it down.
Yeah.
And it actually works out better because if it's about his driving, for example, based on a real example, I don't
or
have
if it's
to tell
about
him.
the way I bunch up a towel. Right? You can't.
I'll put a
bunch up
picture.
towel.
I've taken a picture and I'm going to put a picture on the screen of how this man leaves the freaking towel in the bathroom, and you all will see what I go through.
So anyway, so stuff like that. So it's stuff that can even be like based on patterns. So something for me is like, she doesn't do the dishes.
Well, they didn't ask for an example.
No, since you use the towel.
I do the dishes,
so something,
bro.
something that's important to me is if
do
it's
do
your
the
turn
dishes.
to do the dishes, for you to do it the day of, because I hate having dirty dishes in the sink. So I always make sure to wash the dishes that day, so that way we wake up with a fresh sink, all clean. Anyway, I took way too long, but that's the
Yeah,
whole
dude,
point.
honestly, that's the whole video. That's
Yeah.
all we have time for. Sorry.
Peace.
For me, it's not like a specific thing that has brought us closer or like something we do, but I think it's like seeing each other through so many different phases of life already, the highs and the lows, and just seeing how that person like deals with certain things and learning how to deal with yourself too. If it's good, if it's bad, like how to manage myself. I used to struggle with if his energy was like low or whatever, and I was having a good day, like I would kind of like match his energy and then it would like make it worse. I don't ever want him to like lessen his mood because I'm not in a good mood. So it's kind of like learning that part that has brought us closer, because it's like, I don't know, you're like you're taking your partner's emotions too, but not letting it affect you. And I think that has kind of bonded us in a way that I didn't expect. Question number 2. What is your favorite memory of this first year together? It's my turn to answer first.
Okay, go for it.
He's always so ready to talk. Look, he's like, what am I gonna say? If I have to pick one, it's when he bought me Coachella tickets. So for our last anniversary, that was like the anniversary we had before we got married, he got me Coachella tickets for our anniversary to go this year, the one that just passed, which was like based off of a really cute story actually, which we don't really have like that much time to tell. But anyway, it was like a really sentimental gift actually, because I had never been. We lasted like 2 days. And like the second day I was like just almost on the floor at the end of the day. I don't know how you guys do it, man. But anyways, on the third day, we decided to just like not go to the actual festival. We stayed in like the city because we had a friend with us and we obviously couldn't leave him and go home, but we ended up like we went to the Cheesecake Factory and we just like had dinner and then we got ice cream and it was just like a very cute like bonding experience for us, and we weren't worried about the money we spent on the tickets, or he spent on the tickets. And he made me feel safe to like tell him, dude, I can't do it. And luckily he felt the same way. Like we literally could not even imagine going a third day. So I think that was my favorite thing because of so many like different reasons.
Well, okay, like mine's gonna be a cop-out answer because like, I know, I'm sorry. I don't really have like a favorite memory, to be completely honest. I feel like my favorite memories are a group. It's like a group of things. And really what it revolves around is when I've noticed that she would really take me into consideration and go the extra mile to put me in front of her. And that means a lot to me because if anybody knows me, the biggest thing that matters to me, like when it comes to other human beings, is consideration. And I always consider people ahead of myself, like day in, day out. That's something that's really big to me and I try to practice it every day. That's something that's very like fundamental to my core. So when people reciprocate that to me, and I never expect it, but when they do, it's something that means a ton to me. Really, it's about all the little things she does, the little things that like I don't necessarily ask for at all, but she does because she knows it makes my life substantially easier. Or even doesn't necessarily make my life substantially easier, but just makes me happier like by taking like another thing off of my plate, and it means a lot to me. She's gotten so good at just like picking up on things that like I need and doing things that are like mine, that seem minute, but they really aren't. They're like massive to me. It's the most simple stuff. Like she'll do the bed like all the time because it just like it looks nice and it feels
nice.
That's
more for me, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's really sweet. She'll like fold my clothes, like my PJs, like and put it on the bed for me. She'll like one time she left me like a little book, like pretty much saying like all her favorite things about me, or like it's just like little things that are just so cute and so thoughtful. And she does stuff like that consistently, and that means a lot to me. So that's probably my favorite group of memories.
You do stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Thank you.
Question number 3, which you're answering first, is, but actually I feel like this one we can answer simultaneously because I feel like it's the same story.
Yeah.
Did you have a wedding or honeymoon disaster that you are already laughing about? Yeah. What is it?
Well, let's make this one short and sweet so that we don't go on too long. But yeah. We'll have the same memory, and I'll talk about it real quick. So on our honeymoon, we ended up going to the Dominican Republic, and when we got there, our resort that we had gotten to, it was like an all-inclusive resort, and we thought it was going to be like a blast, and everything was terrible. So our room smelled terrible the entire time we were there. The food was absolutely atrocious. So we ended up getting food poisoning, and the alcohol was literally the lowest level of alcohol quality you could ever have. It was like
one beer selection.
Yeah, I literally got an instant headache from like the cocktail that we tried. I practically did not drink that whole trip, which you'd expect. You'd be kind of like partying it up a little bit. It was that bad. It was terrible.
I was still having micheladas with that one beer, but it low-key tasted like water. It just sucked that there wasn't more like options, but
it was like a light version of Bud Light. That's how
pretty much,
it was. Yeah, it was terrible.
We had his brother actually call like Costco because it was part of like a package and ask if we could make our flight earlier. So he luckily was able to get us home 2 days earlier, and on the last day we were there, we were literally sitting in the lobby just like so excited to get picked up. We were just
ecstatic. Yeah, we could not wait. At one point,
we were watching like Netflix, right? Like we were watching some shows on Netflix.
I want to say about 30 to 40% of our trip, we just sat there and watched Netflix. Like that's essentially, that's how boring it was. That's how much there wasn't to do. Like it was just really bad. It was really, really bad. I would not recommend that.
Yeah, that resort. I mean, I feel like my friends have had better experiences there at different resorts. So I think we just got unlucky with the resort that we picked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and it was newer, so we were like, oh, this is going to be amazing, but that was not the case.
Yeah.
Number 4, what has surprised you most about being married?
I don't know if anything's really surprised me, to be honest. Like, surprised me, like, to where I'm like, oh my god, this is, like, shocking. Like, because I think we did a great job ahead of getting into marriage, of, like, communicating a lot of the stuff that we needed to communicate in order to ensure, like, we have a good idea of what it's going to look like once we get into marriage. Obviously, it's a little bit different once you're in it. I guess what surprised me most is really how lax she is about things that I thought she was going to really, like, not like. For instance, like something that's very therapeutic for me is like playing on my PlayStation.
Oh yeah, you were worried about that.
Yeah, and I don't do that a lot. Like I probably spend a total of like maybe an hour and a half a day. I don't know if that sounds like a lot to people, but I'll play like sporadically, but total maybe an hour and a half, sometimes not even that much. Sometimes it'll be like 30 minutes a day. But like I like to play a few like games of like FIFA or like Madden or NBA 2K or stuff like that, and it's really therapeutic for me. And she actually does not care at all, and she gives me like all the freedom in the world to like do that. And that's been amazing. It's that, and then like I'll watch sports. She doesn't really trip out when I watch sports. Like, she just
no, I don't understand anything going on the
yeah,
screen.
she's very
just happy to be there.
She's very just supportive and just happy to be with me, and like she'll like watch TikToks or like do whatever, and like we'll both do our own thing, and
yeah,
I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what actually has surprised me?
What?
Is how much he actually helps. So in our culture, like, forget our culture, forget our culture, but like even in just like, you know, when you talk to married people, I don't know if this has been everyone's experience, but most of the time when I've, in my life, like spoken to married people, it's like a very like particular, like, like an eye roll about the man's role in the relationship, right? And it's like just the idea that the wife is doing everything, and like my husband is a slob, like freaking like doesn't do anything to help, you know, so
socks everywhere.
Yeah, like misses the hamper. Like, so I was honestly expecting chaos. He'll help me cook. He'll help me cook if I don't feel like, if I don't feel like cooking that day, like he'll cook or we'll go out. Like, he doesn't put that pressure on me. If anything, I put it on myself, and he kind of like, you know, helps me along. Okay, number 5 is anything shocking you've learned about your spouse. Okay, anything shocking you've learned about your spouse.
I can see that.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks. I
thought you wanted a high five. Shocking? Not like, oh my god, who are you? Like, nothing like that. You know, this is something small, but he has shocked me because he makes good smoothies. Like, I've never had...
You're gonna talk about... don't just talk about my smoothies. Talk about my steaks.
Okay, but I kind of knew that before we got married.
Yeah, this is like next level. Like, we
went out
to like...
No, yeah, I went to restaurants that like specialize in steak, and his steaks are better. But that's not shocking about him, because he's cooked steak for me. That was one of the first meals he cooked for me when we started dating. So I'm not surprised about your steak. You've gotten better though.
Yeah.
And that says a lot, because it was already good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyways, yeah, he makes such good smoothies. Like, I don't understand. He somehow like uses a science or something, but maybe it's because his background in pharmacy, but
I use a single science.
What hasn't surprised me is how annoying he is. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I can never replicate a good smoothie like he can.
Yeah, she can't. And also, mine is not hard to think about at all. It's really simple. This woman's hair is everywhere. I find it in the places on my body that I don't want to find it, and it's terrible. And I've felt very violated in multiple ways by where this hair ends up being.
So background info too, he didn't grow up with any sisters, and like his mom has really short hair, so he's never experienced living with this mane.
It's terrible. It's like, it's the craziest thing. I find it everywhere. I feel like spiders are crawling on me sometimes. It's like, you know, that feel,
keeping you on your toes, man.
No.
What is a bonus quality you received in your spouse that you didn't know about until married?
I don't know. I don't think there is like a bonus quality I received.
Excuse me.
I feel like all in all, she's just incredible. Like, she's an amazing human, and I love who she is. It's hard to say that there's like a bonus quality, because nothing particularly like is like, oh, like this just came out only when we were married. Like I said, like, you know, my favorite group of memories.
I can think of something for you.
What?
I didn't cook at all before we got married.
Yeah, it's not a bonus quality though, because like that was like,
you be eating good.
Sometimes. No, because like that's not a bonus quality for me, because you told me you were going to do that. You know what I mean? So like I knew that that's something you really had, like, that you wanted to be, make it a part of yourself, kind of thing, like part of the day to day.
Okay, fair.
I would say like around the group of memories that I talked about, it's more about like the things that she does extra that I feel like those are bonuses. Like, those are like little things she does that like feel amazing. But honestly, she's just an incredible human. So I don't know, she's just always great, like all the time. Besides the time she's pissing me off, but besides that,
that was almost cute.
Yeah, she is. She's honestly incredible. So yeah.
Thanks. That was a cop-out answer, by the way. For me, what is a bonus?
You know, she did start making dessert recently.
I did.
And she's incredible at that. She's only made like one, but it was like a knockout.
It was surprisingly good.
Yeah,
like,
so
especially for the first cake.
We'll see where it goes from here, but it was a good start.
So bonus quality for me that I wouldn't have known about before we got married, because we weren't living together, is that he like cares so much about my well-being in terms of like drinking water or like having breakfast.
She did not know that I cared about her well-being at all up until
it was a shocker.
Yeah.
No, but like a bonus quality, like I already knew he was kind and caring and all that, but like when we got married and like I work from home, so he'll like come upstairs to bring me water, or like he'll call me downstairs to like come get a breakfast bar or something, like just to make sure I've eaten, which is something I wouldn't have, I guess, expected because it wouldn't have even crossed my mind. Number 7 is if you could do anything different, what would you do? For me, it's not something that is in our control or ever was in our control, but if I could go back and do anything different in terms of like marriage, I think I actually would have gotten married a little bit earlier, a year or two, I think, because right now we're in a position where like I'm creeping up on 29, which is then creeping up on 30, and we've only been married for a year now this month, so we're kind of having to consider kids. And I personally feel like, and I know he agrees with me, that we haven't spent enough time with each other. And obviously that's subjective. I know some couples who try right away and stuff, but for us, I think now kids are like a topic for us, and we would rather have had more time to enjoy each other and learn about each other before having to consider that.
Yeah, and I actually completely agree with her. I'm on board with that, so that's kind of what I would do too. But just to piggyback off of it,
how are you gonna steal my answer?
Because it's gonna get even better. I'm gonna go in depth because the reason I feel like
so this is your answer.
Yes, my answer,
wow,
along with your answer. So the reason I say that is because there's times we literally will just be like, let's go do this, like, let's go do that. And we can just do it, you know, in an instant. And it feels really cool. And we've honestly grown so much closer over this year, just obviously living with each other and like having to deal with each other's, you know, good, bad, everything in between.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Like, it's really cool getting to know somebody on that level, especially someone who is already, like, I really do consider her my best friend. I know she considers me the same, and we love each other to like such a high level that it just has felt great being able to sit there and talk all the time and communicate all the time and figure out, you know, everything about each other. So that's kind of the hard part for us, is knowing that we won't have the time to just be able to get up and do something, whatever, at a whim. So yeah, I agree.
We're excited for the kid though, whenever they make an entrance into our life. What have you learned from your spouse this year is number 8.
I think for me, the thing that I probably learned from her is not necessarily like something like that I like learned and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I can go apply it. It's actually more of what she's told me in times where I felt more stressed. So there was a point last year where, I don't know if you guys like know my background at all, but I run my own business with my business partner. We co-own a business. And there was a point where it got like really rough and it was really iffy, and like I was kind of down and I was stressing about it all the time. And she really shined a lot of perspective on it and really allowed me to realign my focus, because she can see things in a much different way than I can, because all I see is the standard that we're holding ourselves to and how I need to hit that. And she really brought things into perspective about how I need to like slow down sometimes and calm down and realize that where I've come is so far in such a short amount of time, and that I need to be better at giving myself a little bit of credit and really accepting that things are in God's timing and they will work out when it's supposed to work out. But if I just keep doing the work, it'll happen, you know? Yeah. And I guess that is something that like I've learned even within myself because of you, is that I need to slow down and give myself a little bit more credit and realign my focus when I think I'm just too far out. So I really appreciate that.
That was a really good answer.
Thank you.
Joe has taught me a lot, like just in the time I've known him in general. But if we're talking about, I guess like just the last year specifically, like our year of marriage, I guess it like branches out into 2 sections. But one is to like not really care what people think, because he's so good at that. Like he just is himself. And like it doesn't matter if you like him or you don't like him. If you like him, great. If you don't, like, great. That's his mentality. And I've learned so much from that, and like I really try to apply it, because, you know, making content or painting, like I do a lot of things that can garner opinions that could get to me, you know what I mean? So having that as an example, just that's the way he lives his life, is so cool, because I can take that and apply it to not only my life but like the things that I do. And it really helps like my mental health too, because I don't really let myself go into this like spiral of like caring what people think, because I know not everyone will like me. And then another thing has been to also like manage my emotions, and I haven't mastered that yet, but it's definitely something he does that I'm like almost jealous of. He's teaching me it like by force, because I'm like looking at him like not like being so unbothered by certain things that would naturally like drive me crazy, and he's just like so good at not letting things get to him. So that's something I'm trying to learn from you. Number 9, how have your feelings changed in just 1 year together? I feel like he's like truly my family. Like it's crazy. There's certain like highlights in our relationship in general. Like the day we got engaged was a really like crazy specific feeling of like feeling so close to him. And then on our actual wedding day, oh my gosh, like that feeling is ridiculous. Like I'll always remember that. Like the actual day of when we were standing at church together, it was just like my mind was like going like 1,000 miles an hour thinking like, oh my gosh, like, and it was overwhelming, but it was like such a beautiful feeling of like togetherness. Like our souls were like merging that day. It was crazy.
It literally
and like
felt like that.
it really did.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful feeling. The thought that was paired with that feeling was like, I'm responsible for this person now. Like this person's like heart and soul and like body and everything is my responsibility, and like I have to take care of it. So now, like a year into that, it really has like made me feel, I'm trying not to like get emotional, but it really is like such an emotional thing. It's truly like so beautiful to like have a person that like you know is now your family and that you have promised so much to, and have to maintain that even on the days you don't feel like it, in small things and in big things, and always trying to like in the back of your mind hold yourself accountable to anything like you don't want to do or you do want to do, or like things like that, and it's centered around another person. It's so selfless, and that actually kind of excites me about having kids too, because I know that feeling in me is only going to get like stronger and deeper, but for like not only him at that point, but for my kid. And that's mind-blowing too.
Yeah, so I think my answer is, I hate to say this, but, you know, practically the same, but it's more along the lines of, I just feel the level of closeness that we've had has just developed in such a substantial way. Like, I can't even, it's weird because I know her so well. I knew her so well, like, coming into this. Like, we really did a lot of homework ahead of time, you know what I mean? But, like, being in it, there's a level of closeness and love that you feel that is just indescribable. And it might be even from the fact that you're literally around this person every day, so you just, like, but I miss her all the time, too. It's weird. Like, I'll play basketball on Monday nights, and it's literally 3 hours, but like I'll miss her. Like when I'm playing basketball, like I'm like, man, like it'd be cool if Yusina was here, even if she was just like hanging out with me for a little bit as I'm like sitting on the sideline, like when my game is not in, you know, whatever. But
I do be cheering.
She does. She's very good at cheering, even when I play terribly. But yeah, so like I just miss her. I love her all the time, and there's a level of like connection that you feel that is just, it's indescribable, and when you're in it you'll know it, but it's just cool, and I really like it, and it's fun. Like I don't know, like we have fun doing nothing, and I don't even know what that's like it's just weird, but we'll literally do nothing and just really enjoy it and actually have fun. It's like a memorable time for us. It's weird. So yeah, I think that's probably what it is for me. Yeah, in the most cliche way possible. It's like when people say like, oh, I have fun going to the grocery store with you. Like I genuinely do. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Especially Costco. Yeah. No, he's saying that because I literally hate Costco. I will never go to Costco by myself. Actually, I have, but we have a lot of fun when we go to Costco. We do though. Yeah, we do actually have fun when we go to Costco. Yeah. But I hate going by myself. Yeah. You won't catch me there often. Number 10 is, what is something you've done that has worked and really made a difference in your marriage that you would give as advice to be successful to others on their wedding day? For me, I want to backtrack to before marriage, because this is the same thing that we did before marriage that we carried into marriage that we will continue carrying for the rest of our days. And for me, that's work hard every single day. Don't ever let yourself believe that you are too good to work at something, or believe that you are too strong to commit a specific type of mistake. Any of us can commit any mistake at any moment. We are all human. When you accept that and you understand that you are weak and that you have a lot that you need to work on, no matter how hard you've worked on it, it is the most liberating feeling, ironically, like accepting your weakness, because you realize that you no longer succumb to your pride. Really, the humility is where your growth is. And when you understand that every single day, mentally, you're working at, I need to be better at this. I need to be better at this. I can't let myself slip on this. I can't let myself slip on this. We're all human. We can all make a mistake. And Justina and I worked really hard at that every single day before, and we work hard every single day now. More importantly, we really worked on getting to know each other and really figuring out what we need to do in order to get the best out of each other. Because a lot of people think that some of the tough conversations are tough and they're not having the right type of conversation. You need to make sure you're getting to know the person that is across from you. And when I say get to know them, I mean like on the most molecular level, like really know what it is that makes them tick every single day, and really ask them stuff that pisses them off because nobody's ever asked them that before, you know, or like it's so important. And if you do that homework every single day and you continue to do it in marriage, where you continue to figure out, well, what is it about this that upsets you? What is it about this that makes you happy, etc., 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 it just culminates into something beautiful. And that is how we will continue to grow and stay in love and be in a positive and healthy relationship. That was cute. Yeah. I really like that. Thank you. My piece of advice would have been the question thing that he mentioned earlier that we do, like the checking in. I've never like ever done that before up until meeting him, and it's
such a game changer. But in order to just add more like substance, because that's already been discussed, one thing that comes to mind is like not letting society dictate too much of like how you think in your marriage or in your relationship, because that can get really muddy. And like if that's all you're exposed to, which a lot of us are exposed to, mostly like these kind of negative like outlooks on marriage and relationships from people who may not have had the best luck or whatever. But even if you don't have the best examples in your life or around you or in society, like you can be that change. Like you don't have to like repeat the patterns of people you've known or seen or anything like that. And you don't have to let ideas that you see on the internet like of men ain't whatever, you know what I mean? Like you don't need to like there's a lot of, it's so hard to, okay, so it's so embedded. This is something that I've been wanting to get off my chest, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Even in my friends or even like in people I talk to, like just casual conversation, if I say something along the lines of like something in relation to cooking, let's say, for example, they're like, well, why doesn't he cook? And it's like, he can cook. I'm just talking about my own experience. It's not like, you know, and it's always like this constant, like, this quick to like defensiveness about like protecting like me and like why doesn't he do this, and like I don't know, it's just a very...
Can I build on that a little bit
too?
So it's more of like what society tells you what happened. Like, okay, so our society in this generation is trending towards a point of like, oh, like complete independence, and you have to be this and you have to be that. It's like when you're in a marriage, you're dependent in the best way possible. You are one human being. That is what you're supposed to be, right? So she literally, like when she looks at like her responsibilities in our relationship, she looks at it as, this is what I'm doing to support my other half. Literally, my other half. Like that is part of me. That is my body, right? And when I do something, that's the same way I look at it. It's like supporting yourself. So it has nothing to do with if she's cooking, if I'm cooking, if I'm doing the dishes, if she's doing the dishes. If like society right now is making it seem like if you do anything for like if the woman is doing these specific things, then she's this type of woman, she's too old fashioned and all that stuff. She knows what her responsibilities are in the marriage, and I know what mine are. Mine, some people might consider not masculine responsibility, some of them might consider it feminine. I don't care what people consider it. I know what I do helps my wife and helps our relationship. And she knows what she does helps her husband and helps our relationship.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's the most important thing. It's not about what everybody else says is okay and not okay. Make whatever is okay in your relationship, okay in your relationship. Obviously in the healthiest way possible.
Yeah.
You know, bad habits should not be supported, but along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, I just don't... And this was, like, obviously to each their own, but the question was, like, for a successful marriage. And I do think that sometimes people can get into others' heads, like, when there is no problem at home kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and then you start thinking, why doesn't he cook more? Or whatever. Like, just don't let people get in your head. And you communicate your needs to your partner, and you do whatever you feel like you want to do. And like I had said earlier, like, my culture... there is expectation on me as a woman to cook and stuff like that. So I actually took that into the marriage, like, and had to deal with the guilt when I don't cook, you know? But I have to identify that that's not coming from him putting that pressure on me ever, because it's truly not. It's something that I've put on myself. Yeah, anyways, like, I guess that possibly mixed with hearing certain things might make you bitter, and that's something to keep in mind, is to like manage your home and your mind as much as you possibly can without outside influence.
Yeah, keep what you can inside your home, and keep the rest outside of it, no matter what it is. That's how you're going to keep it safest.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. You too.
1 year down.
1 year.
That was the weirdest. I was like grabbing like your...
I promise we have more chemistry.
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
We did it. I hissed.
Are you listening? Damn.